Cat Lady, this is a game for cat lovers for sure, but of course the theme is there, but you don't strictly need to be a cat lover to play the game. However, it helps because in this game you will collect cards representing cats, and then other cards and resources representing the food that you want to give them, and costumes, catnip, toys, all of the stuff that we cat lovers just love to give to our cats. And I do own 2 Himalayan cats, but does anybody really own a cat? I don't know. They are with me and I love them dearly. So Cat Lady definitely attracted me thematically. Also, it's a fairly small, very portable game because you have a deck of cards, well, 2 decks of cards technically, some cubes, a cat, and some tokens, but other than that, it's a pretty small and portable game. We were going camping, and so actually this is a game that I purchased in my friendly local game store. We did playing it with my daughters as we were camping, which we did. Now, the idea is this. You shuffle a deck of main game cards and then you draw 9 to form a 3x3 grid that you see there. There's a much smaller deck of stray cats. You simply draw 2 such cards and you put them face up next to the main play area for people to acquire when they have the right stuff to do so. And then you have a cat, very cute. Now, the token representing the cat goes somewhere next to a row or a column randomly at the beginning of the game. And then players will take turns. The general idea is this. During your turn, you will collect 3 cards, and they will be from all from the same column or all from the same row. You choose, but you cannot select the column or row that is being guarded by the cat token. So right now, for example, I won't be able to take those 3 cards. I suppose that I want to take these 3 cards. Then I move the token representing the cat next to the column or row that was just depleted. I refill that from the main deck, and the next player goes. The new cards that you acquire go in your hand, or especially since I play with young players, they don't have large hands, we just make a tableau. Every player has their play area. If you play against, I guess, very competitive adults, you may not necessarily want everybody to know exactly how many cards you have of each kind, but that's the way we play. We play with the cards in the open. So you collect the cards, either you hold them or you place them out there. It's good. It's up to you. When you collect a food card, you also collect a cube of the corresponding kind: white for milk, purple for wild. There are 3 kinds of food: chicken, tuna, and milk. Plus again, wild, they can replace any of those. Cats also need to be fed. When you collect a cat, you see a number there, which is the number of victory points the cat scores at the end of the game, if the cat is fed. So for that one, I need to place a tuna there at the end of the game, or a wild when it's time to score. Each cat that you fed will score you the corresponding number of points. You will lose 2 points for each unfed cat that you have, because that is just sad otherwise. Remember those stray cats that I mentioned earlier? Some of the cards are called lost cat cards. So when you have 2 of them, you can discard them to either gain 2 victory points or 1 of these straight cats, which again, they have different points, different dietary needs, and they may have different abilities. There may be combo situations such as score number of points for each white cat that you feed, for example. And cats have a color, and for those that struggle to tell colors apart, here you have a reminder of the color of the cat: orange, black, white, and so on. So you continue collecting cards until there aren't enough cards to refill the grid. At that point, players simply score their cards, and different cards will score differently. We said the cats will score the indicated number of points if you have fed them all that they want. Toys, you score a number of points: 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 12. For each set of that many different toys. So a set with 2 different toys is 3 points. If it was 3 different toys, it would be 5 points. And if you have if you have matches, doubles, so multiple yarn balls, you can place them as parts of different sets. Catnip. Either you don't use it or you go big, because as far as I understand the rules, there is no penalty for not having catnip, but if you have only one, you lose 2 victory points. However, if you have 2 to 3 cards, then you score an extra victory points for each well-fed cat, and if you have 4, 2 victory points for each fed cat. Costumes. If you have the most costumes, which is, I don't put costumes on my cats in real life, it just looks a little cruel. If you have the most costumes in the game, however, you score 6 victory points, but if you have none, because you're a miser that way, then you lose 2 victory points. And this is pretty much the main ways in which you score, and so that's the idea. You collect victory points from the cards that you have. Player with the highest score wins the game. Cat Lady is most certainly a filler, and there is nothing wrong with that. It is a filler that I played only with my daughters, because these are still times of pandemic, so I played it only with 3 players, and my daughters are 8 and 10, so you get a sense of where my constituency is at. And they enjoyed it okay, and I enjoyed it okay. Basically, no one disliked it, but no one fell in love with either. Even my 8 and 10-year-old thought that the game is just a little too light. That there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing that feels broken. Oh, I don't want to play this game. I hate the mechanic. I hate that idea. Everything works. Everything goes as expected, I would say. Everything flows smoothly in the game, and I like how quick and simple that the flow of the game is. You're not going to have analysis paralysis because you only have a limited number of options, and some options will appear absolutely undesirable to you. Well, I don't need more cats when I have a ton of cats and not enough food. So in truth, when the turn comes around to you, you have maybe 2-3 rows that you're considering, but in most cases it will be 2, but in so many cases there's only 1 row that is really desirable. And again, sometimes that is more exciting than it sounds, because the row that you want already is there before it's your turn, and there's 1 player before you, and now you're hoping that that the player before you doesn't take that row exactly. They're gonna take probably a line of cards that will at least remove 1, but you know, losing 1 from that golden row or column is different from losing the whole thing. So it can be exciting when the row that or column that you wanted is still there when it's your turn. But the decision making feels overall pretty basic, pretty standard. In a certain sense, it felt almost like Sushi Go. The scoring reminded me of Sushi Go a lot, with different sets that score differently, with a little bit of push your luck when you commit to certain things, with some sets working differently than others. So almost felt like Sushi Go with a different way of acquiring the cards. And I love Sushi Go. It may just be one of my favorite games, especially when it comes to Sushi Go Party. Again, within the category of light filler games, I think Sushi Go is a true achievement. And so this one felt a little bit, well, derivative. It seems to imply that they to Sushi Go and they did something about it. They did something based on it, like a conscious thing. I don't know that happened, but it definitely felt similar enough to Sushi Go that it made me feel, well, I guess I could just play Sushi Go instead of this one. I love the cat theme. It's very cute. It's very nicely implemented, but overall, from the point of view of gameplay, this felt like a fairly average filler game. Again, nothing unpleasant in it, but also nothing that stood out and really made me want to play this one instead of other fillers. Again, Sushi Go in particular. So if you really like cats and you really dislike sushi, thematically speaking, Cat Lady may be more appealing to you than some of the other fillers out there. But other than that, it's nothing wrong with it, but also nothing particularly remarkable. It's pleasant, and sometimes that's just good enough, but that's also all that there is to it, I believe.